Yeah, so the mitochondria is a large chunk of the cell. We're talking could be 10 to 30% of the cell is actually mitochondria. And in the case of neurons, it's more on the high side, maybe a third of a third of the cell is mitochondria. And um, mitochondria are particularly important for neurons because they're highly dependent on this organelle that does oxidative phosphorylation. This is like the process by which a vast majority of our energy is produced. So over 95% of our energy is produced in these little furnaces. And neurons, they are really at their metabolic limit. About 25% of all of our energy is burned in our brain, which means that there's a lot of oxidative stress. A lot of it's essentially a furnace. It's amazing that our brain doesn't cook itself. So there's this push to maximize energy output in the brain, but also to not oxidize everything around it running these furnaces. So neurons are where you see mitochondrial dysfunction first, because they are the most dependent. So if you look at mitochondrial genetic disorders, they're often see neuropathy. Or if someone ingests a mitochondrial toxin, one of the first things you see is neuropathy. And that's because these neurons are so jam-packed full of these mitochondria, and they're so dependent upon them for their function. And also, other tissues as well, like muscle, are highly dependent on mitochondria. Other tissues in the body may not be burning as much fuel, and they may not be as reliant. So I think in the case of the brain, uh, mitochondria really come into focus, and we see a lot of interesting signals from many different avenues of research that mitochondria are a big part of the neurodegeneration story, um, both in aging and also like early onset genetic disorders as well.